Commissioner, I'll entertain that motion.
I will make a motion to appoint Commissioner Montgomery temporary chair for the day to run the meeting since you're remote.
Brad will second.
Okay, moved and seconded. Any discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Barry,
Yes.
Corey,
Yes.
Brad,
Yes.
Steve,
Yes.
Bo,
Yes.
David.
Abstain.
You can't abstain.
Okay, I'll play your game.
Okay, but you have to say something to play my game.
Yes.
Thank you.
Well, here, I thought the meeting was only gonna be 15 minutes. No, I'm sorry, it's gonna be an hour. Okay. Approval of the minutes from October 15th. Thank you, gentlemen, I appreciate the honor. Approval of the minutes from October 15th, 2024.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
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 Motion passed. She didn't even hear me. Better take roll. Roll call vote. Karen, I said all in favor. Everybody said aye.
Can we go with that? Okay, Corey,
Yes.
Brad,
Yes.
everybody's getting snowbrained. Steve,
Yes.
Bo,
Yes.
David,
Told you it was gonna be an hour. Yes.
Barry,
Okay,
Yes.
motion carried. New business. Jeremy, it's all yours. I'll be quiet.
Good morning. New business. First thing on there is we have the 2025 Park Board meeting schedule. Yep, it's right after the financials. Everything matches up with the second Tuesday meeting of the month, or the third Tuesday of the month, where we have our second county commission meeting. So all those dates line up with that. I will say that just before even though I think we'll just go with it and figure out how it works, there's on that Tuesday, March 18th, that day is the first day of a educational session I'm signed up for in Bismarck. So we'll see how that goes, whether I leave after the meeting or what we have to do. But I do have a conflict that day, and we'll make it work though, somehow. Yeah, well, I'm in. I am in. So otherwise, and then the one other thing is the time, what time we want to do. I know we started today pretty close to 8:30, but pretty regularly we start closer to 9 o'clock. And now with adding those, having the each director's report or department head report that we have the third Tuesday of the month, that's been pushing us back a little bit later. Staff recommendation that we start at 9 o'clock, but that's what we want to do. I don't know what you guys.
I think we stick to 8:30, because that way we've got time, and I know there's times that Beth has other things going on afterwards, so I would make a motion that we stay at 8:30 for our start time.
You want to just make it all as one?
And approve the meeting dates for 2025.
And promise that you just tell Lindsay I tried to make it 9.
And I promise I'll tell Lindsay.
We have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, thank you.
Just a second here. We need to have a
Oh, got it,
roll
good.
call vote, please.
Brad,
Yes.
Steve,
Yes.
Bo,
Yes.
David, Barry,
Yes.
Corey,
Yes.
Okay, Jeremy?
All right, next thing, Epping Springbrook buoy maintenance. The Outdoor Heritage Fund is really making me jump through hoops to get the last percentage of our grant. And the one thing they said is they need a written commitment that we will continue to maintain the equipment we have. So I'm looking for a motion from the board to commit to maintaining the buoys we purchased for 5 years.
Can I ask what that might entail? I mean, are we talking $1 million or are we talking $1,000?
We've already agreed, like when we purchased this, we agreed to, there is a service contract, that's $10,000 a year that we're already on board for. I don't think it's gonna be any dollar amount. I think it's just us taking them in and out, talking to the people from LG Sonic. There's sometimes some where the connections make, because they can get dried out. Those gaskets can get dried out. Sometimes those, talking to them, they're talking typically less than $1,000 a machine a year, and a lot of times closer to $0 a machine a year. So it's not something that I was really actually surprised when they made this request, because I kind of already told them. I said, well, I gave them the minutes of that we committed to the $10,000 service plan, that the maintenance, that they take care of all of this, and they're like, yeah, but we need a commitment from your board that for 5 years. And I'm like, well, I mean, we're not gonna, just like a truck, I'm not gonna get rid of a truck, any
Thank
other
you.
piece of equipment, right? But either
Gotta
way,
take care of your stuff.
yeah, I mean, we just gotta take care of our stuff. Yeah, right? But either way, I'm trying to get our last, I think it's about $12,000 or whatever out of that grant. So I just need it in the minutes to say that we commit to keeping those things up and running for 5 years.
I would move that we maintain the buoys as presented.
The motion, is there a second?
Second.
Roll call vote.
Steve,
Yes.
Bo,
Yes.
David,
Yes.
Barry,
Yes.
Corey,
Yes.
Brad,
Yes.
Motion carried.
Next thing on there is a road groomer. It's actually a pull behind. My guys have been had been looking and trying to prod me to find them a piece of equipment that we could groom our some of the gravel areas we have a little quicker and easier. Dennis and the crew have been great. Dennis and Tanner both. If I call them, they're there within a week or so and getting it done. And a lot of times, especially with Blacktail, they get it done before I even ask. They've just been on top of it. But at the same time, this is for more some of those smaller jobs. This is more like our RV pads and some of the smaller things like that really compact down and get hard. So my guys have been looking for something, and then and not even talking to him. Dennis went to a trade show a couple weeks ago, and he brought this back, and he said this machine was pretty nice, and he recommended it. The one that I have the quote there is for it's 8.5 foot wide. They go 8.5 foot wide to huge, way bigger than I would ever need. The three that I would actually like would be what I would consider go 11 feet wide and 13 feet wide. But talking to my guys and talking to Dennis, I think really the smallest one is the one we need. I don't.
What do you pull it with?
You can pull it with either a tractor or a truck, either a 3/4 ton. Have to
So
be
is
3/4
this-
ton. There is hydraulics with it too. That's why there's an add-on for the hydraulics, but that's just to lift it up.
So is this kind of set up more, because the link didn't get me anywhere, but is it kind of like a box blade kind of an affair, or?
Lindsay, is that something you can pull up on the interweb? A picture of the unit?
I think yeah. We have a box blade at Blacktail, and it's okay. It doesn't do great. The added thing. Yeah, are you looking for the website? Yes. The thing is that this really pulls your material back to the center. That was the big thing that Dennis told me about too. it really saves that material that gets pushed off to the side and pulls it back to the center of the road, so you're not losing as much in the ditch. And then, like I said, the other thing is those, you know, where we are, our gravel can get dry and hard and compacted pretty quick, especially in those RV sites. I don't know that I'm necessarily need to have it approved today, but I wanted to get it out there because I do think it's a good piece of equipment. I know there's some other guys that have experience with road work and dirt work, and give them a chance to look at it and then bring it back next month, maybe see if there's another piece of equipment out there. Dennis just got this to me relatively recently, but he was really impressed. And the little bit I've looked at and I've showed my guys, we've all thought it'd be pretty good. Looks like it's cut, you know, the 8.5 foot wide one, we'd still be able to, if we're going to Blacktail, you could still get the whole loop done in two swings, one in the right lane, one in the left lane. Yeah, and it looked like I said it's small enough that we'll be able to back it in and do those like back in RV sites for those pads. I just think it's such time. I mean, obviously not. We're not going to be able to eliminate having a blade come out there every now and then, but man, all of a sudden when we have a little moisture the night before, and this morning is the day to do it, my guys can just jump in and go, rather than you know Dennis has to plan ahead. So, like I said, I think it's a neat piece of equipment, and I know there's a couple guys here that have a lot of work with moving earth, and thought I'd give you guys a chance to look at it. And I don't think budget-wise I can afford it till next year, anyways. But I don't think I'll need it till next year. But like I said, I want to throw it out there so you guys could take a look. And I would also, you know, any opinions about maybe size? I said I went with the smallest one. The next one's up 11 feet wide. I don't know if we need that big.
Moving it from park to park's gonna get tough. Your 8 feet is probably better off because you can throw it on a trailer if you need to.
Right, and that was, I agree. So otherwise, I don't need any action on that. Like I said, I want to throw it out there so you guys could take a look and think if it's something that would be useful for us.
Just a question for you dirt experts. Is this safe to drive at 12 miles an hour? You know, because Mark Burnell told me that that wasn't cool.
So,
It may start
so
to
you're
bounce
just
at about
looking
12.
at
Yeah.
online, it looks like it has a hydraulic wing on the outside, so it kind of folds up to a reasonable width for transport. And then it's got, just like on a chisel plow, it's got hydraulic wheels that lift it up and down. So one thing to look into, Jeremy, like, I don't know how much they charge to put hydraulics on that, but all my hydrobed pickups that I haul round bales with have an engine-driven pump on it. And then the hydraulic cables go out the back, or the hoses. So that might be something like a specific pickup you're going to use has that engine-driven hydraulics on it. And then you just turn it on with the switch and run it with a remote control. And if nobody's looking, then I can hook it up to my hydrobed pickup and go try it out. Just a joke, obviously.
Was that an offer to donate a pickup to the parks? Is that what I heard?
Well, I do have 3 of them that have hydrobeds, so I suppose if they needed one, they could borrow one.
Could you do my road too?
What did you say? How much it cost, Jeremy?
Um,
16.1 is on the bid here that we have.
yeah, 16,100, but that doesn't include a couple options. There are a couple options in there that you could,
Mhm.
yeah. So, but like I said, I'm okay with holding off for a month or until we buy it. Like I said, I don't have money in my budget till next year, but I think it. And I called them. They have plenty in stock. They can ship them out whenever. But I think it's something we'd use.
I think it
Well,
would be just a damage
question?
addition, but
When we set up the funding for the parks, I think we also included funds in there because we knew you were gonna need newer additional equipment. Can't you just take it out of there?
Yeah, we did talk about that. Yes, we said part of that extra funds that we had in there was to maintain and operate the parks, so.
With,
yeah.
with equipment. that you-
Correct,
You would
yep.
need, so.
Yep.
I mean, my suggestion would be that you just take the funds out of there. In fact, I'm not so sure you shouldn't have two of them, one for each end of the county.
Like I said, Dennis obviously knows a lot more about roads than I do, but Dennis was like gonna talk to certain townships and say, maybe you guys should look at doing this too. Cause he really was impressed by these, and some townships that, you know, they get there and they do their job, but they could use a little extra TLC in areas. He was gonna recommend, some of those townships look at this piece of equipment.
I guess if the Parks has one, then Dennis would have something to show people, because it's easy to see it
Yep.
online, and when you have the perfect road with the perfect moisture, but if you can go show it, I think it looks like a good idea. I wouldn't be opposed after, I think getting one would be just fine to try out, and maybe down the road two would make sense, because it's a long ways to transport it.
For sure.
Somebody want to entertain a motion, one way or another?
So what is the total the 16.1, or is the total 16.1 plus everything there?
61 plus all that.
And Dennis thought the pickup was the best idea, because I mean, some of these roads, I don't know that a 3/4 ton's gonna get enough traction to pull carbides through that. I don't know if it'll have enough.
Some of those hills, yeah.
Yeah, that's what, I guess that'd be my
I
worry,
could
'cause
pick up with a round barrel on the back, it'd be perfect.
we just gotta switch the hydraulics, or do you have two hookups?
Well, I mean, it wouldn't be an issue at Blacktail because we have tractors, we have multiple tractors there. But then it'd be the idea of getting equipment, like I said, now we're transporting the trailer and a tractor if we wanted to use it at, the other parks. But you're not wrong. I mean, pulling something up, pulling the trailer up the road at Epping Springbrook Dam with a 3/4 ton might be difficult.
Well, with a weight box and all these things, I'm just worried that the pickup won't have enough traction. I
Right.
mean, they all have enough power, but I don't know that you'll be able to get enough traction in the ground to pull this stuff through, so does it change the need for a hydraulic pump kit if we're just say we're gonna put this on a tractor?
It does, correct.
Can't we just go downhill?
Try it without the hydraulic and then,
And then for like in and around the park, you know, them half-road tractors with way tighter turning and whatnot, then that pickup's gonna be kind of a challenge in the lots and around, you know,
we did talk about that too. Carter and I talked about that because the trailer, even though it's 8 foot wide, it is 16 feet long. And then when you have, like I said, when you have a truck in there and you're trying to make the corners coming out in those back end stalls, we did have that same conversation. That was part of the reason why we thought the smallest one was the best, was just for those maneuverability. But yeah, tractor would be a lot easier.
and it's kind of a question here, but I'm guessing we have kind of a, you know, one of them little front wheel assist, kind of like 40-ish horse tractors, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I think that would probably be the way to go than a pickup, because the pickup inside them RV parks is, I mean, you know, it's tough enough just to get around some of the corners with just the pickup, not to mention, you know, running over a water spigot or a tree or something, you know.
Oh, yeah.
I guess I would say we'd probably just go with this, and then I guess we'll kind of play it by ear. I mean, if down the road we ever wanted another one, or if we wear this one out or whatnot, we can figure it out then.
Well, the only thing about it, if you get one, you'll know at least you'll have something to experiment with and what to pull it with and whether or not another one's worth having it down the road.
And set up like this, I mean, there is places where a pickup would be would be more than doable, but other places, you know, so. Well, I'd make a motion to accept the bid for just the way this one's set up, and then we can figure out how to get the best use out of it, as we go.
And to take the funds out.
Yes, correct.
We have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Any other discussion? Roll call vote.
Bo,
Yes,
David,
Yes.
Barry,
Yes.
Corey,
Yes.
Brad,
Yes.
Steve,
Yes.
Motion carried.
All right, thank you. Next, special road fund program. Again, talking with Dennis, this is something that in the past Dennis applied every year for at like Blacktail. It's the fund that paid for the paving on the, at McGregor on the north side there. And like I said, every year Dennis has applied for it. He says from his experience, it would, they might be more interested in giving funds to the, to a parks department as opposed to county highway. It's kind of what this is more geared towards. They kind of look at it, and when the selection committee for this road fund, they look at it and say, well, county highway, you have so many other options at getting money, and this one's a little more specific, and they kind of gear towards our parks and things like that. It's a 60-40 matching grant. It's due, applications are due the end of this month. Dennis's recommendation is that every single thing we would even consider, we apply for every single time, and it's doubtful we're gonna get it very often, but you just keep throwing your name in the hat. Yep, and Dennis, and he even said like at Blacktail, he actually puts in 2 applications, half the road and the other half the road, hoping they'll get one. He mentioned this year would be a great year for us to apply for Little Egypt because they're already doing the road work on the way in, and they could just keep doing that loop at Little Egypt. That would work slick, right? Talk about saving money with just mobilization. So, just giving you guys a heads up that it'll be my intention moving forward to just do what Dennis has done and apply for those as many times as we can and hopefully get it every once in a while. But okay. So what I'm looking at doing is I would like to apply for this 60-40 matching grant with Dennis and Lindsay's assistance. We would apply for 2 different ones, two grants at Blacktail, one at Little Egypt, and potentially one at Epping. I'm a little worried, like Dennis recommends that we do, but I know the construction we're looking at doing at the park, and how we want to change that road going in, and I just don't know how I can work out paving and also getting that done. So I think we'll just skip that. We'll do the two. I would request the board considers us applying for 2 grants at Blacktail, splitting it up into 2 projects, and then 1 at Little Egypt.
Is that to pave?
To pave, correct.
Okay, I'd make that a motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any other discussion? Roll call vote.
David,
Yes.
Barry,
Yes.
Corey,
Yes.
Brad,
Yes.
Steve,
Yes.
Bo,
yes,
Motion carried.
All right, master plan implementation update. A couple things first, and I've got a rural water user agreement and an easement. Both of these, we'd have to approve pending. Karen's looking through it. She hasn't had a chance to see these, but it's the standard easement that rural water gives out for them to go and do their long-term maintenance if something breaks down. And then their standard water user agreement, that you have to sign up for anytime you connect to rural water. So Karen hasn't had a chance to give her thumbs of approval, but, as long as, I'd request a motion that we approve both of these pending Karen's review.
Jeremy and Karen, are we gonna do these on parks with the new construction?
We will, yep, yeah.
Would it make sense just to approve one time for all of them? I mean, they're all pretty much the thing, are they not?
Wordage wise, they will all be the same thing. The only thing different will be location. Everything else, it'll be their standard template that they use. So other than the location it's at, everything else will be the same for both the water user agreement and the easement.
It's just a thought to save you some time.
Yeah, I would make a motion to approve the easement and the water users agreement pending Karen's approval of the contract and in the future for any of the other parks.
Okay, we have a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second it. Brad will second it.
Okay, any other discussion? Roll call vote.
Barry,
Yes.
Corey,
Yes.
Brad,
Yes.
Steve,
Yes.
Bo,
Yes.
David.
Yes.
Couple update, I got next couple of items on the agenda are updates or progress reports. First one is from J.E. Dunn and their progress report for Lookout and Coda Ray. Quick summary, Lookout Park is almost done. They've actually took the fencing down so it can be used and it's open. We do have, we're waiting on the shelter to show up, which should come in the month of December, and as soon as they have a nice weather day in December, they'll put that up. And then just need to make the water and electrical connections. And I think there's a light that goes along with the shelter that they have to put in. Other than that, Lookout Park will be done. I'm waiting for the grass to grow. Other than that, that'll be done and ready to go. It looks really nice if you haven't been up there. Pickleball court looks nice. Everything looks pretty good. I'm excited for that shelter to come up, but it's gonna be a nice little park here now. We're on their way. And then at Coda Ray, we've had a few hiccups along the way, but nothing that won't be overcome. So feel really positive about about having it open before Memorial Day. We've been doing a lot of work out there. It looks good. Exciting to see, like I said, now when I go out there, once a week, every time I go out there, you can see changes. For so long, it was tough to see changes because they were just kind of pushing dirt around from here to here to here. And now you go in and every time it's something new that they're doing, something new is going up, something new is being finished. Yeah, moving along, both of those projects are looking good. That's J.E. Dunn's update. And then if you look, and then going on, there's also an update from our architect, AGL.
Jeremy, just a quick question. What, any opinions on the tiles on the pickleball court at Lookout?
What do you mean?
Yeah, what are your thoughts on it?
I've used it before. They're not a lot different than what did he even call them? I can't remember what he called them. Those Sullivan's backlot sports courts. Yeah, they're not a lot different than sport court. They hold up really well. I talked to some guys from New York that use them a lot. They absolutely love them. They actually leave them right in place in the winter and flood right over them and make them ice rinks. The painting on the materials are like airplane paint, so the paint sticks around forever. It doesn't fade. They say they have a lifetime expectancy of 15 years, and they say no problem. It'll last well longer than that. The rationale behind it was surfacing a tennis court. It's not too terribly expensive or too hard. It's just that there's one guy in Fargo that does it, and after that you got to get to Denver. So it's just difficult to get people up here to do it. And surfacing a tennis court you should typically do where we live at least once every 5 years. So that's why we kind of gave this a shot to see if these courts would work, and I think they look nice. I'm pretty excited about them. Like I said, maintenance-wise, it should be, in the long run, I think it should be better off than painting those courts. No problem. Yep.
Also, we didn't get all of the, there isn't all of the printouts in your packets. It looks like the last one we got was page 27. We don't have any of the Blacktail schematic designs. So if Lindsay can put those up. Please.
Oh, yep, which is where we're at right now, which is perfect. So this is where we're at with moving on to the black-tailed schematic designs. So this is where we're at right now. We have sent this on to J.E. Dunn to get initial pricing. Doesn't mean that this is the final thing, but this is at least now we can get some pricing and know that if we're too high or too low or where we go on from here. Real quick, we'll start down in there in the southeast corner where the entrance is. If you notice that if you follow along the south, there's a road that bypasses the shop. That's always been part of the plan. Those red dots are lights along that road. That little loop right there is a dump station as you're on your way out. We did add just north of where that dump station is where the shop is. We have put in a chain link fence around that shop. We don't have a lot of storage there. It'd be nice to have what we have to be able to be fenced in and secured. And then north of there is the main campground area. We have moved the boat landing to the east of where it was. Kind of, if you're familiar with Blacktail now, where the mailboxes are right now. If you head straight to the water from there, that's kind of where the boat landing will be. It'll be a 2-lane boat landing as opposed to the 1 lane we have now. And then moving to the west there, we have up along the shoreline, we have some back-in sites. And then just south of those, we have, those are all pull-through sites. Every site has water. Currently, water and electrical. Currently, we don't have septic at every site. We are on the far west end of those, right there. Yep, that's where the camp host would be. And we do have a few sites there right now that have septic. We want it for our camp hosts. They're going to be there year round, and so if we're there, we figured we'd have a couple other. And then right there, we also have a shower house building to service that campground. And then along that, if you keep going there just to the west, that shoreline right there, oh, nope, up north, that's all more like day use or community area. There's right now we just have a playground and a sand volleyball court showed. And then as you keep going to the north there, we have a beach and some shelters. So that area is all more, like I said, more day use than camping. And then you continue on, you can see we have back-end campsites there. And then a couple more back-end campsites down the road. And then just to the east there, we have group sites. Each of those triangles is 3 sites. So you go around the sides, they're group sites. We're only showing 4 sets of those group sites right now. And even though they are listed as group sites, they will be able to be reserved individually as well. Right now we're looking at 4 groups of those. Depending on how the land works out, there is kind of a slope there. We might try to put another one of those in. We'll see how it goes. But tentatively, this is what we're looking at. So then, just south of those group sites, that's where we'll put our pad for our stage, and we'll have our grass amphitheater right there. That road along the back, the idea is where that would be the road that you would drive in with your. That would be a trail big enough you could drive in with your golf cart or your side-by-side, and you'd be able to pull right up and park right back and sit from your side-by-side and watch, or just go and sit in the lawn grass and bring your lawn chair and watch. There is a parking area, and there is a shower house, and actually a little bit right now on this map, that's where the community building, or what is now called the fire hall, is at. That's where that's shown right now. Just that idea that event space between the stage and then also this, our community area. That's where that's currently shown. So moving around, straight west of there, that's some primitive sites in there. And then we have a trail going around. Going going to the beach area. If you look up where the current beach area is, we did eliminate a few of the current spots. Then we cut into those trees and we have some pull-through spots we put in. There's a shower house there as well, and restrooms and running water and all of that. Right now, that yellow area is defined as an area that would be fenced storage, something this group's going to decide if that's something we want to get into as a potential revenue. But a place to store your RV, whether you're someone that wants to store it out there year-round or over the winter, or if you're somebody that only camps at Blacktail, so even in the summer, I'm going to bring it out there, I'm going to leave it parked there, and then when I camp, I'm just going to pull from the parking spot to my RV spot. But that's something we'll have to decide. Currently, we do lease that land to the Blacktail Dam Association. So then if we go out further north, you can see the trail going around, all the way around the park. We also do have that area right down there that's going to be continue to be a primitive area, tent camping. We'll put in a new shelter with some parking and a vault toilet. Yeah, it's kind of, and then that red line is a trail that goes all the way around. That's kind of the nuts and bolts of it right now. I think I hit all the highlights. Is there anything specific I missed? Like I said, this isn't necessarily the exact final plan. This is what we're sending out to get pricing and to see where we're at. A couple of things I will mention. I know that I've talked to Brad and I've met with their group. I know that the Blacktail Dam Association would like to. They're interested in the community building or the what is now the fire hall. That's something they talk about that potentially they would put some money towards. One idea though, their idea was different than what is on here. Their idea was that it stays close to the location it's currently at, and we make it to be something that could potentially be a contracted kitchen or a contracted restaurant of some sort. Someone that would rent space and contract it out and have some type of facility there. The association, their group envisioned a building there and then some way to, whether it's some boat slips right there or some way to access it from the water. And then with an oversight view. I think it would be really, really cool. I think that's a different direction than something we've done so far, but something we can, like as I talked to Brad, or I guess I emailed Brad and let him know that when, that was his idea or their group's idea, and it wasn't on here, but again, this isn't our final plan. This is just to get us pricing. But it's something that they're interested in.
That's the association.
Yep.
So Brad and Jeremy, would all that come together when Blacktail decides to incorporate as a city?
Amen.
How would that work? That would be a city-owned park then, wouldn't it? Just asking, just throwing that out there. The one thing about that building is even if you move it from where it's at, there's an area to the so where it sits now, if you move to the southwest to where there's a 90 in the shoreline going west and north, that little corner down there could be a possibility also. That I think would be a hot little area, and you can put docks down there because you're not going to have waves. It's a no wave area, no wave zone, and so you could actually put some docks down there, and it would work very nicely for your programs and ours to be able to park your boat and then walk up to the amphitheater or walk up to the campers or whatever it may be. So a little bit farther to the north there, with now a little bit to your east. Right there. Yep. That's what I was looking. That little corner. Just a thought. I kick around all of it, doesn't mean anything. I just looking at all of it.
What about the other boat dock?
The current one or the one to the northeast? I think maybe under that lease map, we'll talk about all that. So our next agenda item, so as soon as we're done with this.
Okay. I just didn't see it on there.
Yeah, that's fine. Yep, that kind of, we have, yeah. So, like I said, not necessarily action that needs to be taken on any of this. I kind of want to give you guys an update of what, kind of where we're at and what we're going. As I said, we've handed this off to J.E. Dunn to get some pricing and get back to us and let us know, give us an idea of where we stand and, with what we have budgeted, can we do this? What more can we do? But like I said, just want to get you guys in the loop, know where we're at. I guess real quick, we do have total of three shower houses there, in the 3 different areas, with running water. Currently, we have 1, and then we are just above the current number of camping sites we have. So we added a couple, not a lot. I think that was kind of the goal. The goal wasn't to put 30 new campsites in. It was to improve what we have, and so we didn't lose anything. We added a few. Otherwise, that's it. With that, so the next thing is the Blacktail lease map, and just to give you a little refresher. So the solid gray area there, that's private property. That's where all the lots are. And then the lined area is the area that we currently lease to the Blacktail Dam Association. I believe it's $250 a year. They pay us for that leased area. A lot of it is the deal is they lease it and they maintain it. I think the thing that becomes obvious when you spend time out at Blacktail and you look around and you talk to people is that lease definitely benefits individual property owners in different ways.
Did you say 250 a
$250
year?
a year for that, yes. That lease definitely benefits individual property owners in different ways, and it's really hard to figure out where to draw a line. That oh yeah, that's good, and no, this people, and it's interesting. For the most part, what happens is across the road from your lot, there's probably park board land, and you can park your stuff there temporarily, as long as you maintain it. And keep it looking nice. That's the gist of it. In reality, what happens is everything from that to people that leave some of their stuff that isn't well maintained and left for year round, to people who leave their camper plugged in year round and actually have people that live in it, to people that block off areas that are only that are park board land that no one else can get to. One of those areas is as Corey mentioned, on the northeast part there. There's that tiny little yellow triangle you can see just, right there. That's actually park board property, and there's actually a boat landing there. It's a rock boat landing. It's not concrete. It's rock, and it's little, but it's a boat landing. And currently, it's set up so only one private resident can use it. We have the land that's in between is game and fish land on the dam, and you can see those lines are where we up there. Yep, that's where we that's a part of our lease that they lease from us. So the property owner there typically in the summer, especially in the holidays, they will utilize that lease land as we allow them to, but they'll pretty block it off so you can't get through at all. Difficult to even walk through. And then definitely no one else can access that boat landing. I know that's become more of an issue out there. Well, like I said, that's not the only issue. There's issues with other areas where private property owners are using within the areas of the lease parkland, park-owned land, to their benefit. Some of the things, like I said, it doesn't really matter. They mow it and they park stuff there temporarily and they move it at the end of the year as it's intended. But there's multiple situations where it's not. And the one that's getting more and more controversial out at Blacktail is that boat landing. I think there was some, at least one incident this year that upset some residents, and it is public property, and need to figure out a way to address this moving forward.
Just a side note, Jeremy had mentioned people leaving things on those areas that we lease, that Blacktail leases. Blacktail Dam Association has put together a governing board, and they will actually inspect next May all around the lake, notify the owners that they have only so much time to move their respectively junk or non-junk, and maintain that area. If it doesn't, we don't have the ability to do what park board can do to thoroughly enforce that. So we would hand it over to the park board if they didn't respect our wishes.
So the plan for the development of this park, is there any possibility or something to where that this boat ramp, the northeast one, would be a very usable, you know, especially on the days when the wind all of a sudden pops up? Or, I mean, are we gonna improve that ramp also?
Right now, there aren't any plans to improve that ramp at this moment, but it doesn't mean there can't be. Like I said, that's definitely a change we can make. We haven't touched that as far as our plans so far, but we've discussed it with Brett, our architect, and he knows about it. He's aware of everything there. He's done a little research on it, so if we decide that's a direction we want to go, that's something he's prepared to do.
But I guess, you know, just for, you know, down, you know, if we're planning and we're improving it, actually, I mean, just, it would make sense to me to improve that. And just for one, just a safety factor, if, you know, you get big winds, all of a sudden, you know, big black cloud comes across from the west and it's like, oh, you gotta get off the water. That would seem to be more protected, be more of a usable, safer way to do it, I would think.
I mean, having an option on a different part of the lake definitely would be advantageous, right? Depending on which way the wind's blowing, and because where we're moving the boat landing to now, it's not a real protected area. It's not like in a little cove somewhere. So, I mean, it definitely wouldn't hurt to have another option in case of bad weather.
Well, and then with the private land around it like that, I don't really see where we have a lot of places to pick from.
No. Nope. Yeah, I'm in agreement with you. I think, like I said, I think it's really interesting that land was never, that little bit was never part of that lease. You know, you look around at all of the land out there that is part of the lease they give to the association, but that land never was. And this isn't a new thing. This isn't a new thing. You can look through the park board minutes, and back when Leroy was the guy in charge, there were months where this was ongoing battle, this little area.
Yep.
So this is a situation that's come up before, and kind of buck got passed along and moved along, and here we are. Leroy Lutz lived out there, and then the current landowners or the Zavalnys had it too, and he pushed hard to get that open to the public. But Mr. Zavalny was also on the park board at that time, so it was a contentious thing in many meetings.
I would say the reason, my guess would be why it wasn't included in all the hash marked land is because of that boat ramp. So, and I'm thinking if we're gonna spend, you know, that kind of money improving this place, it should probably have two ways to get off the water, just like a, you know, front exit or an entrance and an exit.
Means they're pushing it, Jeremy. Can't you have them price out as an alternate, so you guys have a rough idea in case numbers come?
Yep, I can do that.
Which would be parking and, I mean, we gotta price out parking and the ramp.
Correct. Yep.
Yeah,
Park-
I think we need to do it. It doesn't make sense not to know.
Yep.
Your biggest concern right now would be getting to leave it unlocked, because he's got a steel cable across that ramp. If we can get it to be left unlocked
Yeah,
And that could be-
that's,
in emergency.
Uh,
I think if
Jeremy and I had a good discussion of this, how to start the process on that. There's a handful of these little chunks of board property that are, being used, by private residences. I think we need to just, get them all surveyed, so we know exactly where our property is, where the private lot is. And then, because it's a funky spot too, and then the Fish and Game has got, the land on, further to the east and actually a little bit to the north, comes to kind of a funky point. So I think that once we get it surveyed, then we can discuss with Fish and Game what they would allow us. Hopefully, they would allow us to use some of their property for parking, like closer to the trees. But I think how we address it with the landowners on their private lots is it's surveyed. If there's a cable across park board property and we haven't allowed it, then it just comes out. And then part of the plan becomes that we're going to develop that area. It's part of the park plan, and if the boards see that that's useful, then that's the way it is. Correct?
yep. Okay, so I'll move forward with, getting areas surveyed. And I agree with that cable being gone. But I'll move forward with getting the areas surveyed. One other thing I did want to mention was, though, if we will be making an amendment to our lease either way, for other areas. Like you look at where the beach is and where we're gonna cut into those trees and put those new pull-through sites. Currently, that area is leased to the association. That area where I talked about having potential rented storage space, that area is right now leased to the association. I did talk to Karen beforehand, and she thought it would be easier to just make an amendment to the lease. Or just. Yeah, amend the lease rather than redoing it all. We'd just be able to make some amendments. So between now and then, I'll work with Karen and kind of get that ball rolling. And then I'll get to those other areas that we want to survey. I have had communications with a few of the landowners that are in this, and none of them were real happy with hearing from me, but that's okay. That's my job.
Welcome to the club.
Yep.
With the discussion with Jeremy, I figured that it's best to just, address them all at the same time, and how we handle it, but at least it's consistent. And knowing, then it can either be added to the association's lease, but at least it's consistent for everybody, so that, we're not picking and choosing. It's just, this is the way it is, and we're getting those surveyed so that we know where our boundaries are and their boundaries are, and then we go from there.
Is that something we can get surveyed yet, now, or do we have to wait till spring? Probably a question I'm asking myself, but I just wanted to say it out loud.
I'll let you know here in the next couple days. I'll make a call right away and find out.
I mean, it can be surveyed. We wish. There's no stopping the surveyor from going out in the snow.
Okay. Yep, I'll make a phone call this week. The only other thing on there is the left is the DEQ's summary review of Epping Springbrook Dam. Really quick, their recommendation is that we continue doing water sampling, even maybe potentially increase water sampling from a couple other sites. And they have not, this summary did not include any data from LG Sonic, but I've already sent them all of that data. And Brian, our project manager for Epping Springbrook, he's gonna go through and include the data he got from LG Sonic and create another report for us. But their recommendation, like I said, is to continue sampling, increase sampling, and then put in some best management practices. Gotta keep those cows out of the water. I mean, you can drive by anytime you want and see cows. Go stand at the boat landing and just look along the north shore, and you can see cows right there, right along the water line. And I think the water board's open to that. We just got to find out what the best method is. But the report's there. Keep moving forward with that. Otherwise, the only other thing I have is I just again I thank David for everything that he's done for our county, but specifically for parks. I know he was a big proponent of getting these improvements done, which really in a lot of ways created this job for me. So I appreciate you, David, and everything you've done for me and for the parks. And I'm looking forward to retirement myself, so I know you'll have a good time. Yeah.
I will get those other things and send them out to you guys.
I guess the only thing I didn't cover, and I apologize, was I did have a handout I handed to you, and that kind of just gives us where we're sitting financially on the master plan. I handed it to Beth. Beth, I can email that to you as well if you want. But that's just something to give you an up-to-date idea of what we've spent, what we're currently looking at spending, and how much money we have left. So, and we'll try to get this report to you every month when we come out, so you can kind of keep you updated as we go.
December 17th. We will adjourn.
David, congratulations on your retirement.
Is it 9:37?
It is 9:37, correct.